Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your boy Chidi Gains. In this video, I'll be going through a tutorial of how to bench press, going through the techniques. This video is for beginners, but also for advanced lifters as well. Stay tuned. Leave a like and comment down below, guys, and subscribe to my channel. Without further ado, let's get on with the video. So, the first thing you have to think about when you bench press is the setup. You need to think about our feet positioning, you want to think about our hand positioning on the bar, and you also have to think about bracing and also our upper body positioning whilst we lie down on the bench as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down each position step by step and go through the correct technique at each stage. So first things first, when I lie down, I normally start with my feet on the bench. I grab the bar and I use the bar to pull myself, digging my traps into the bench. I then retract my scapula, wiggle around to find a comfortable position. And then once I'm found that comfortable position, I put my feet on the floor and then I start the lift. So just explaining quickly what I just did. What I did was I had my feet on the bench. The reason I did this is because it allows me to really retract my scapula. When I say retract my scapula, I basically mean pulling my shoulders back and depressing it down. This puts you in a very advantageous position for pressing because you've got a nice solid structure at your back when you're in this position, and it allows you to just be able to come down slowly, as slow as possible, and explode off your chest. The next thing you have to think about after you've got your back in the right position, you've retracted your scapula, is your arm position. Where should you have your arm and your hand across the bar? This is variable for different people. Generally speaking, the closer you have your arm, the more tricep is involved, and the wider you have your arm, the more chest is involved. If you're a taller person that has really long arms, then I would advise to have a wider grip. But if you're a little bit shorter and you have really small arms, I would advise to have a closer grip. It all depends on comfort as well. I personally like to have my arm just wider than shoulder width apart, right about there. But you can go wider or closer. The main thing to remember in hand positioning is remembering where your pinky is or where your index finger is. Have like a marker that makes it consistent each time. If you're struggling with hand positioning, a good gauge and guide to know where your hand should be placed is if you lie down on the bench and you spread your elbows out, where you meet the bar is a good gauge and a good way to start. And then you can come in and come out depending on how comfortable it feels. So another thing I want to quickly speak about when you're bench pressing is making sure that your thumb goes around the bar. We don't want to go over because this is very, very dangerous. You can imagine if you're doing a lot of weight and you're over the bar, it just takes a small mistake for you to slip. And yeah, you're gonna crush your ribs. So do not do this. Always be very safe and go around the bar like this. So this is the wrong way to do it. Coming up like this, over the bar. You can drop it very easily. It's very easy to drop. Want to go under, it's a lot more stable. Another thing I want to speak about is elbow positioning when you're descending the bar to your chest. A lot of people make the mistake of flaring their elbows out all the way out like this. This is a very incorrect way to bench press, and over time you're going to get a lot of shoulder problems. The correct way to bench press is actually keeping as tight as you can, squeezing your lat in, and then having your elbows come in a little bit as well, because this is going to allow you to protect your shoulders over time, and it's also a much tighter, stronger position to press from. Bar up, elbow in, not out here. Not this is wrong. In. A key part of bench pressing is leg drive. A lot of people don't use leg drive when they're bench pressing, but all the power is generated from your legs. You need to make sure that your legs is firmly planted on the floor, and when you're pressing, you're digging into the floor and forward. So you're pressing down and forward. This is going to generate the force, allow you to activate your quads. And then this goes up the kinetic chain and allows you to be able to press off your chest as powerfully as possible. Depending on your comfort, you can either have your feet firmly planted on the floor, where the whole surface of your feet is on the floor, or you could have it when you're on your toes. This is completely dependent on the person, and it's just personal preference. But just be aware, if you're a powerlifter, certain federations will want you to do certain things. For example, the IPF will want you to have the whole surface of your feet on the floor. But leg drive is very important. Make sure you keep an even distance. Some people like having it further, some people like having it closer. Just play around with what's comfortable to you. It's very important that when you bench press, you have your joints stacked. What I mean by this is that you're not overly extended or overly flexed. Your joint should be completely straight. This is what's going to allow you to generate as much power as possible. Furthermore, when you're lowering the bar onto your chest, a lot of people lower the bar high or too low. You need to lower the bar just below the nipple line, right there at the end of your breastbone, right there at the end of your sternum. This is the position where you generate the most amount of drive. Also, when you're pressing up, I need you to, the bar path should not be straight, it should actually be almost like a curve. So you're going like that. So you're almost going back to the weight almost. Instead of going straight, you're going like this. This is the most efficient bar path biomechanically for you to have the most efficient lift. So yeah, I'm just going to demonstrate that quickly and talk over it whilst I'm doing so. So come here, retract my scapula, dig it in, feet on the floor, bar up, come down, up. Bracing is very important for any lift, and this is definitely important for bench press as well. So, what I mean by bracing is contracting your abdominals in order to generate as much stability as possible and allow you to leverage as much leg drive as possible when you're pressing. Before you descend into the leg, before the back comes down, you need to take a deep breath, contract everything as hard as you can, and then at the bottom, explode up. And then take another deep breath, hold, descend, and explode up. Another thing that I want to speak about are the contact points when you're bench pressing. So, different contact points when you're bench pressing are your feet, your bum, your lower back, your upper back, and then obviously you're grabbing onto the bar as well. This is very important to remember. And if you do powerlifting as a profession, if this is what you do or if you do as a hobby, it's very important to remember that some federations want you to have your bum on the bench at all times when you're bench pressing. I actually failed one of my lifts in my competition because my bum lifted up the bench. A good cue to know, to remember, to keep your bum on the bench is instead of pressing down into the floor, you want to press forward almost. This allows you to keep your bum on the bench. When you're bench pressing, the lower back has a natural curvature. It's called lordosis. And it's very natural for you to have a bit of a gap in your lower back that is not in contact with the bench. This is completely normal, and this is the sign that you're doing things right. If your lower back is actually on the bench, then this is a good indicator that you're not actually arching enough and your upper back isn't as tight as it could be. So, in summary, I'm just going to run through the key points that I've spoken about. Feet positioning is very important. Make sure you have your feet firmly planted on the floor. Make sure that when you're leaning, going back, and you're on the bench, you retract your shoulder blades and you can press it. And when you have your arm on the bar, you have your joints stacked. When you're coming down to your chest, you come down to about this point here, at the bottom of your sternum, and then you explode up. Bracing and breathing is very important. Taking a deep breath before you're coming down. keep nice and tight before you come down. An important factor as well, make sure that your bum is on the bench, make sure your leg drive is very, very strong and you're pressing down and forward into the floor to generate as much leg drive as possible.
Alright, just a quick demo of my working sets, and I'm just going to talk through my form and my thought process. First things first, I like to practice with the bar as I would if I had my max amount of weight on the bar. You practice how you play, and you want to always be practicing keeping tight and the correct form, as this is going to translate as the weight gets higher. Also, I want to speak about using wrist support as well. This is very, very good as it allows you to keep that aligned wrist joint, and also offers you that extra bit of support so you can explode as hard as you can. One thing I also want to say is, do take your time with setting up, don't rush, don't start until you feel your traps are really dug into the bench and you've got good feet position that you can drive off as hard as you can. Also speak to your spotter. A lot of the times I speak to them so that I can explain to them exactly how I want the handoff, so that you don't get annoyed if they go too far forward or too far back, or they help you.
So that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys got something out of this tutorial. If you did, leave a like, comment and subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Also comment down below if you would like to see me do a different tutorial on squats, deadlifts, or any other lift in general really. Peace, see you in the next video.